back. It's That 206 Sound. I'm Natalie Melendez, and we took a bit of a month off. I took a bit of a month off, had a lot going on leading up to the new year, and we're back in 2024 with a new hair color, if you couldn't tell. I'm not going through a mental breakdown. I didn't go through a breakup. I literally had my dentist wonder if I was doing okay because I dyed my hair. But no, I just wanted something new to bring in the new year. And it's 2024. It's our first episode of That 206 Sound with the new year. And also our first episode with a woman. Not that it's a big deal, but for me it is, just because I love all genders who express themselves and anyone that does music. But there's something so intimate and so special about doing a one-on-one conversation with a woman. And not only has she become a really great friend of mine, she's also super talented. She performed at 2018 Capitol Hill Block Party. She sold out Numos. And she's honestly just that bitch. It's Kylie Nelson, ladies and gentlemen.
Thank you.
How are you, Kylie?
Tired.
Yeah, I know. It's Monday.
Yeah.
I was having a hard time getting up, too. So how's your new year been? About a month into it.
About a month in, same as last year.
Yeah,
so
I
far.
know. Like everybody thinks it's like this big change that
Yeah.
you go through when it's the new year, but it feels like it's just really another day.
Yeah, but I'm excited for a new year, new me.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What does that entail?
Great question. Probably more focus on myself, being more organized and just more focused on my music. I just really want to do something that I haven't done before, and I'm trying to come up with my new vision that I focus on.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, it seems like you are kind of heading into like this new era of yourself, like from where you left off last year. It sounded like that was kind of like the start of it almost.
Yeah.
But to get back to like going back to the beginning, because I really like, as much as I've hung out with you and drank with you, I feel like there's still a lot that I don't know about you. So I kind of want to know like where you kind of grew up and where everything started.
Oh, God. Well, I was a single only child for most of my life, and I always moved around, and I was always with my mom. So I was born in Seattle, and then I moved around from Everett, Mukilteo, Linwood, Marysville,
Oh, wow.
all up north. And I always felt like I didn't belong wherever I was. Like, I remember when I moved to Mukilteo, it was just like a bunch of rich people. And I'm like, how the
Yeah.
It just didn't feel relatable at all.
Yeah.
And all my friends had like multiple homes and cars and just stuff that didn't seem realistic to me. And then I always knew I wanted to be in music. So I kind of looked at it like a little analytically, like, okay, well, I have to figure these kind of people out in order to be likable, in order to do my music one day. And so I was always figuring out all the groups and the social groups and like, how do I relate to these people when I don't feel like that comfortable? But it was a really good challenge for me because I feel like I've cracked that code and there's no one I can't talk to or no one with any background that I can't, find some kind of common ground with.
Yeah.
And that's really helped me in music because I just feel like I can present my music to anyone.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. So when you were moving around a lot, did you have to bounce to different schools?
Yes.
Was that hard?
I can't even imagine. It was hard, but I was very social and like, I don't want to say popular, but I was.
can see it. I can see you're being popular.
So I drop into a school, be the student body president, drop out, come to another school, do whatever. And it was weird, but it was just a weird experience.
Yeah.
All of school.
I feel like that would be really hard to bounce around
Yeah.
and stuff. But I mean, because you are really social.
Yes,
so I mean,
yes,
makes
I am.
sense. That's good that you were social back then.
Yeah.
And
then in high school, I'm like, okay, you have to figure out how to do music. And everyone that I looked at, like, I remember looking at like Lizzie McGuire and like Beyonce and like all these different people, but all their parents were so rich, And I was like, that's how they got famous. So I'm like, okay, you need to get to college somehow and you need to go meet people and then you'll figure out how to do this. So I just focused my mind on getting into the business school at UW. And somehow I would find a route to music through that. So that's all I focused on. And I withdrew from school so I could go to college at the community college and then be 2 years ahead at UW. And
what?
Yeah.
Oh
so that's
my
how I got
God.
to iHeart.
Oh my God. Jumping a little bit ahead, but that's all good to know.
Yeah.
So like, did you grow up in a musical family?
No. I mean, my mom loves to sing.
Yeah.
And my dad would rock out to like 80s power pop male music. And my
yeah.
mom loved like rock and Santana and soul music. And
Nice.
so I would just sing to myself all the time.
So you grew up you always listening to music.
Yes.
Pretty much.
Yeah.
Okay.
But that's all I had to do
Yeah.
after school while I'm like waiting.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. So like were you like involved in any like musical theater or like any like like were you in choir?
Of course. I was in
Okay,
choir
yeah.
every single year, no matter what.
Okay.
But our choral instructor was top notch.
Yeah?
Shout out to Miss Duck, love you.
Quack
And-
quack. Sorry.
When she came to my Numo show, I had made it.
Oh, that's a
because
big deal.
that was
yeah.
nuts. But she wouldn't let me be in the plays because you had to. It was very political. You had to be in all the after school programs, everything,
really?
and then I had the community college, so I couldn't make it to all the things
Yeah,
that I'd
that's
have
tough to
earn
do.
it. Yeah.
What college did you like? What community college?
I went to Edmonds Community College.
Okay.
Yeah.
No, community college is the way. That's what I did. I went to Bellevue College, then I transferred to university, and I'm glad I did.
Yeah.
It saves you a lot of money.
It does. I saved
Yeah.
like probably $30,000. I
Nice.
did it all for free. Because
Yeah.
through Running Start,
Yeah.
they do it for free.
That's
yeah.
what's so nice. So
Yeah.
did you graduate like when you were like 20 from
Yes.
college?
Yeah.
Okay. Oh my God, you're a young little bean.
Yeah, it was weird.
So what like sparked you getting into music? Like what was like the thing? Obviously you grew up listening to music, like different
Mhm.
genres from your parents, but
Mhm.
like what was the thing you were like, oh, I need to be doing this? Like it just kind of made sense.
Well, I just think that I was a sponge as a kid and no one was happy. My parents weren't very happy people. And everyone was sad and everyone was like going through things and poor. And I don't know, I just absorbed everyone's stress all the time. And then I had my
Yeah.
own traumas. And so I just felt so much pain all the time that one day I just had to fucking sing. I don't know if we're allowed to
You
cuss.
could, I mean,
okay.
yeah, you're good.
Okay, yay. And so I don't know, it just came from a really deep place. It's kind of like working out.
Yeah.
It just had
it's
to come out.
therapeutic.
And yeah, and then I just can't stop getting my heart broken or other things happening. And that's life. Everyone goes through things. But for me,
Yeah.
I have to get it out through music or a song.
It's the healthiest way to do it.
Yeah.
I mean, seriously.
Yeah.
So starting music in Seattle, when like can you tell me how that kind of started? So you went to UW, and that's where you said you were able to find connections to really start like recording music?
Not yet.
Okay.
So everyone that I had met was in the like emo scene. Like no one was doing soul music or no one would like slow down and like just give me a beat and just let me do something. Everyone was so uncomfortable with that improvisational setup.
Yeah.
And so I was constantly having to just be like the vocalist on someone else's song or I don't know, help them put their vision together. So I couldn't find anyone that would just do music with me and just let me fly. And so by the time I got to iHeart, because I couldn't find anyone in college, so I just graduated UW. I went through the sales program and I was so depressed. I remember I got an internship at KEXP and I was just stuffing envelopes, trying to figure out how to get to the other side so someone would take me seriously. And for the sales program, you have to do an internship somewhere to graduate. And so I'm looking down the list.
Wow. Yeah.
And it says Clear Channel, which is previously the
iHeart.
company name for iHeart. And I'm like, okay, I'll just pick this one. And I remember walking in the first day and Neo was in the lobby.
What?
And I was like, oh my God, where the fuck am I?
Really?
And it was like Cube 93 and I had always listened to Cube like
R.I.P.,
every fucking
man.
morning. Yeah.
God.
R.I.P. because that was honestly the best
That
morning
was
show
the best.
ever.
Yeah.
But yeah, so I got to iHeart and I was like, crap, I have to fake being into sales. And I remember
Yeah.
they put me in promotions and I was making Ludacris posters for
No
the
way.
street team
Oh, that's so
before
cool.
his concert. And I'm like,
Yeah.
I have to find a way to get over to the influential side of this company.
Yeah.
And I made like a seating chart for myself and wrote down everything I knew about everyone, just kind of like how I did in high school, where I had to
Yeah.
like figure out how to relate to people. And then once people got to know me, they wanted to help me. And so I was faking sales. God, I hate selling,
Yeah.
but somehow I'm always in sales. And so I sold radio forever. And I remember all of my account executives that I worked with, they went to Showbox and got me my first showcase. And they said, you have 23 days to put together a show because you have your first show in 23 days.
Oh my God.
And I had never written a song or worked with a live musician yet. And I was like
That's
25.
That's a lot to put on someone. Oh my God.
But it was the best moment of my life.
How did you whip that up like within 23 days?
I called every person that I knew in music, which wasn't a lot at the time, every live musician. I remember it was my friends from Marysville, from when I went to Marysville.
Wow.
So I would go from iHeart to Marysville every single day for 23 days. Oh my God. And I just had to just force myself to write songs and not care about how cool they sounded or really think about the outcome that much. I just had to put something together. And so I put all my heartbreak into like 7 songs and paid them in Burger King. Yeah, I gained like maybe 30 pounds preparing for that show. Yeah. Just going from one thing to the next.
That's, oh my God. Going to Marysville too.
I can't,
nightmare of a drive.
And then paying for everything. And then, I don't know. It was just so overwhelming. But that's the thing that really kicked me off in music, because I'm like, if you can do that, can you imagine what the next thing you can do? And so I would just keep coming up with a new goal. Like, okay, you just put together a show with all odds against you. I think you can come up with the next goal, and that would be like the next venue. Okay, now I want to sell out a show. Okay, now I want to open for someone, or now I want to do this. And so that's how it all started.
That's crazy.
Yeah.
So after your first performance, how far away was that between that and then your first EP, which is Chapter 1?
God, I don't even know. I swear to God.
Well, I know the EP came out in 2017. I have that
2017.
here.
Okay. Great.
Let's make it easier. So, probably
a year.
Okay.
Sorry, it's coming back to me.
No, you're good.
Probably a year.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. So did you use those songs that you kind of started with?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes, because then what was happening is I started working with a producer that was my best friend's husband. And he's like, we were out partying one night and we were drunk on the porch smoking a cigarette. And he's like, I just want to help you write music. And I'm like, okay.
Then do it.
And then but he was one of the very few people that went to the drawing board, came up with a bunch of stuff for me. And it would just all flew out of me. Once I had those tracks that someone put their heart into, I could just write to it no matter what. And so all the years of having to sing emo music when that's not even my brand of music, just to be associated with another musician, it just allowed me to just improv, anything. And I just sang whatever came to me at the time, and then we just built from there.
That's a good skill.
Yeah.
To be able to just pull stuff out like that. So how long would you say this EP was in the works for?
1 year.
1 year, exactly.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. Because there's a lot of different elements that go into it, and I kind of wanted to talk about it because I feel like there's a lot of hip hop, and soul elements, and I know that's kind of that is your thing. Did you are you really into hip hop and soul?
No, I mean, I'm not a big hip hop girl, but it's other people's influences that help inspire me. So the producer was into all types of music, and so anything that he put together, I could just flow with.
Oh, that's dope.
Yeah, it's really fun.
It's good to have different backgrounds coming in, and I feel like you do in even your live performances too, which we'll get into. You always have a big backing crew, but it's not just like a drummer, a guitarist. It's saxophonists, background singers. It's super professional. So, did you have these songs ready to go?
At what point? When I wanted to record them?
Yeah, when you wanted to record it, or was it just kind of you go in and just kind of start adding on to it as you go?
Great question. It was recording was just to get it down. So I feel like the first 5 songs that you could find on Spotify at this point are my songs before I even knew them. I came up with something and I was like, let's record it right now. And then I started to get to know my songs once I started working with live musicians. And now the vibe is completely different. The songs are just a different, I don't know how to describe it. It's just everyone put their influence on it. Like when I had the horn section come in and James come in as my bass player and Jordan come in as my guitarist, and he's from like Tennessee or something like that. It's just like everyone's influences made the songs what they were. And then once I finally heard them in that big space and capacity, something came out of me. Like, I don't know. It was like God or something. I don't know what it was.
Was that the night where you like performed in the long black dress?
I always perform in long black dresses.
You're like, you got to narrow it down a little bit. Okay, well, because I could just tell, like, when you sing, like, it feels like there's something really deep.
Yes.
Like, that's coming out.
Yes.
So your goal for was there really like an overarching goal for the first EP, or was it just kind of like get in there and just start like recording?
Yes, get in there, start recording. I had already felt like I was so behind. You know, working in radio, you're like seeing all these 22-year-olds pop off. Yeah. And at that time, I'm 25, haven't written my first song, and I think I'm already behind. So I just wanted to just get it down and get something on paper. You know what I mean? Get something out to people, and then I figured I would learn as I go.
Yeah, I mean, that's the best way to do it. You got to just throw yourself in there. So between this EP and then your most recent single, so you dropped your EP in 2017 and then Nasty Girl. It's Nasty Girl. It's not Nasty Gal.
No, it's Nasty Girl.
I had to like make sure. But that you didn't drop another single until 2023.
Yes.
So what are, if you can think of any, like what are some similarities between, because I feel like sound-wise, I heard a lot of similarities between Chapter 1 and then Nasty Girl. But for you personally, what were things that were different when recording both of those?
I love you. Sorry. First of all. Okay, what were things different between my first 5 songs and Nasty Girl? Well, probably my level of experience and also the level of experience with the people I was working with. And I had never done harmonies at the time. I don't know. I just feel like I was so green with those first 5 songs and just seeing what came out of me. And then by Nasty Girl, I had really like kind of owned myself, my brand, my sound, my music, and like knew what I was doing. So I just have a lot more conviction by the time I did Nasty Girl.
It seems like with Nasty Girl, it's kind of like almost like a start to like where you kind of know you want to go, it seems like. And I feel like with Chapter 1, even just what you've told me, a lot of it was like just trying things out. Not that it was all like incredible music. And I mean, you look bomb as hell on the cover. But like it just seems like with Nasty Girl, you're like kind of like putting something in the sand. It's like, no, this is like really who I truly am, and I'm super comfortable with that.
And I think I still think Nasty Girl is my best song. And I have a lot of unreleased music. And so I just put like 5 songs together, and I purposefully left out some of my best music, knowing that I would work with more people and I wanted to see what would come out of that version of that song once I started working with professional musicians. And so I kept that one to myself for so long until I was ready and felt like I was like worthy of recording it. Yeah. And so I finally recorded it with Peter Kruger.
Love him.
Yeah.
He's
the best.
He's great.
What's his?
Is that his last name, Kruger?
It's Kruger, but I think that's his artist name or something. P. Cruz, Silk Sound Productions.
Isn't there like a funny connotation with the last name Kruger? Like
I don't know. I have no idea. And now I'm worried that I got his name wrong. No, his artist name is
we'll put it on the screen.
Okay.
Just so nobody gets it mixed up.
Met him through Devin from Lovely Colors, and I remember for a while I got so depressed in COVID. Yeah. And I was just like hanging out with Devin and James for like all of 2020.
That's awesome. Yeah, it's what are you supposed to do?
Yeah. And he was like, you should work with this producer. You should really work with this producer. And I'm like, okay, I'll tell you when I'm ready. And then just one day I'm like, okay, your whole life is going to waste away unless you just like make another move. Yeah. So I've been working with Peter since September of last year. And it's taken a long time to get this song out, but I feel a lot more confident about who I'm working with, that they actually know where I'm going. That they're good people, you know what I mean? All that matters. And I'm ready to put some of my best stuff out there and be proud of it.
Well, I'm excited. I mean, I'm sure everybody's been waiting for a long time.
Yeah.
Because I remember hearing Nasty Girl, like, even just in, like, some of your live performances, too,
Mhm.
like, well before it even came out. So, and if you don't, like, feel comfortable talking about it, you don't have
Yeah.
to. But why was there such a big gap between the EP and Nasty Girl, like, just release-wise?
Honestly, relationships really matter to me, even like friendships, not just romantic relationships. And I had a falling out with the first group of people that I did music with, and that really, really broke my heart because I had, it's really like you feel the most comfortable to work on music with your close friends, like to hit a wrong note or to, make a song that isn't that good. And so that space, that comfort allowed me to make a lot of good music, but we couldn't carry on in music together when it came to the business side. And that really, I fall into depression a lot. And so I think there was a huge gap because I, maybe felt like, oh, maybe I'm not that good, or maybe it's not that great working with me, or maybe there's something wrong with me as to why that didn't work out. And so I just got in my head about it, and I didn't really know how to start over. But that's when I got booked for a block party, and it was like, too bad, bitch, figure it out.
That's crazy.
Yeah.
So, like, how did that happen? Just to sidetrack a little bit.
Like, yeah, how did that happen? Oh, no, I know how that happened. So the EP release show in 2017, I oversold.
It was Numos,
I'm not allowed to say that. Oh. Barboza.
Do you want me to cut that out?
No, okay. Tell everyone. So I remember...
Our laughs are so goofy. I just realized that. We're like...
Okay.
Anyways,
the booker who totally doubted me was like, oh my God, never seen a local artist do what you just did. And he's like, do you want to play block party? So I think once you like oversell a show or sell out a show and kind of prove yourself to a certain venue or a venue group, like especially with Numos Barboza, they'll ask you to do block party, and then they'll ask you to do like whatever stage they think that you're at based on how many people they think you'll bring. Yeah. So because I sold out Barboza, they asked me to play Barboza for a block party, and then I was like, well, suck up your tears, lady, because it's time.
That's awesome. Yeah. Did a lot of people come?
For the block party?
Yeah.
I think so. Not the same amount of people that came for my EP release show. Yeah. But all I'm worried about is getting in front of an audience I wouldn't have already had. So I'm not above opening for anyone. I just want to get it. I don't care if it's 20 people. I want to get in front of those 20 people for them to hear and feel my soul while I'm singing. And that's all that matters to me. That's an investment. Yeah. So I think once I had done the big show and I had everyone in radio come and I had all the people that, I was proving myself to at the time, see what I could do, that's when people started to ask me to do more shows. So I think I had like 7 or 8 shows lined up. And the last one was Block Party in the summer. And so that's when I built the band.
Oh, that's crazy.
Yeah.
So to go back a little bit, this is kind of specific, so we don't have an answer, but Who is Nasty Girl?
Oh, Nasty Girl is my ex-roommate.
Oh, so this is about
this is not a sexual song. This is not a confident song like, oh my God, I'm so nasty. This is about a mean girl.
Really?
Yes, and she just pissed me the fuck off.
Do you want to talk your shit?
Sure. No. No, it's just like... that kind of girl that has a problem with you, doesn't tell you, acts fake with you. I'm the most direct person in the entire world. You're never going to wonder where I'm at with you. And I'll always give you respect, but I will always be direct with you. And I just continue to find people that are very passive aggressive and whatever their issues are. And I just don't relate to that at all. And so I had an old roommate that just really didn't like me. And I found out through other people that. Yeah. But every interaction between me and this person was completely positive and loving and all these things. So how would I know any different? And so, spending a couple years with that person and knowing how they really felt, and it's just, after a while, I was so angry, and I'm never going to take my anger out on someone else. or at least I'm going to try not to. And so that's where I turn is music. I write songs when I'm pissed off. It's very rare that I write like a love song. Like that's where I go when I have nowhere else to go with the anger. So I was just so sick of it. And I just felt that she was so nasty.
She's a nasty girl.
Yeah, she's a nasty girl.
God. That's so funny because I wouldn't have expected it to be like about that.
Yeah.
I thought it was like, I'm the nasty girl.
Everyone thinks it's a sexual thing.
Kylie,
and it's not. It's not.
So we got into a little bit of what you grew up listening to. You grew up listening to soul and like old like 80s music, but there is a bit of a rock influence in you. And I know like you don't want to be associated with like the emo scene, but
it probably seeped in.
There is a little bit of it. So like what kind of like rock music like kind of inspires you?
I mean, I always loved Paramore. I always loved
Yeah.
Hayley Williams. Like that was like, and she started out as a blues, like gospel type singer. So that was the first time where I was like, okay, these genres can mesh somewhere, somehow.
Yeah.
So I think I just got used to singing rock music because that's what everyone was, any musician that I knew as a kid was playing that type of music.
Yeah.
So I don't know, maybe I got used to it. I also do like rock, soul. I love Led Zeppelin. You know, things like that. And then I just love soul music. I don't know. I just, everything that I've heard and that has, that I've gotten exposure to, I just put into the songs.
It seems like it's like a hybrid of so many different things too. And I think what's really cool is like you've said, meeting different musicians. I feel like in a way they've influenced your sound too. And you do have like a big band, or at least just from videos I've seen. So what kind of backgrounds does like your main like band, like if, like people that you're gonna hit up right now, like, oh, I got a show tomorrow, like you're gonna come play for me, like what kind of background?
If everyone was available, the last version of my band, because they're all hired guns, if everyone was available, my drummer is a gospel player, my bassist is a pop punk. She's dating my bassist. Okay. And my guitarist is like a blues,
Harrison
country,
B.
Indie.
Shout out.
Yeah, shout out to Harrison B. And I keep having a rotating trumpet player. So Richard, you're awesome. And I don't know too much about his background other than he's incredibly professional, can hop on any song and do whatever. And then Medeiros is like just smooth soul gospel saxophone player.
Yeah,
so.
I was like looking him up a lot more, and he was on Mr. Morale and the Big Steppers, like the Kendrick Lamar album. That's crazy.
Yeah,
so how did you meet
talented.
him? Yeah.
Honestly, everything has been so kismet. Like it's just one person leads to the next person. So when I had Block Party, I needed a new bassist immediately. Oh, no. This is how it started. Sorry. Cut myself off.
It's okay.
Had Block Party, and I'm like, what am I going to do? I have no friends. And so I put up a $5 Craigslist ad. Okay?
Yeah.
Literally put up my PDF of me, $5 Craigslist ad. And I was like, if you're cool, you're not going to like write too much about yourself. So I put like 2 sentences, like soul pop singer, looking for this. That's it. Yeah. And so I found Jordan that way. And I remember it said on his thing that he does open mics at Salty's and on Alki. So I just went to his open mic with my friend. Salty's. And then I didn't tell him I was going just to see if he was good in the back. And
smart.
Yeah.
That's smart.
So I met him afterwards and he's like, this is weird. And I'm like, and
you're like,
yeah,
you weird. Just showing up at the same time at the same place?
Yeah.
Weird.
So, but he's like, yeah, but I'll join your band. So I actually put auditions together. And so everyone from every instrument messaged me. And I just set up like a vertical schedule, bought a bunch of pizzas, got a studio, and just did auditions. And I had people in radio helping me figure out, like, are these guys good? And so the first spot that I got someone in on was Jordan as my guitarist. And then I remember something crazy happening to me, and I needed to get rid of my bassist. And so I was like, who am I going to find in 1 week that would learn all of my songs? And Jordan from Harrison B was like, I know someone. and it was James.
Yeah.
And then James joined the band, came early, knew all my songs, didn't have to tell him one thing. So so that led to the bassist. And then I'm just, you know, calling people, like everyone I know, I'm just texting them shamelessly, like, who do you know that could do this, blah, blah, blah. And then I just start making those calls. And one person just led to the next person. I don't even know how I got Medeiros, but Medeiros gave me Chris. I got Richard from Victor, and I don't know. It's just a rotation, and I can never seem to keep a pianist, but
at least you can rotate that in.
Yes,
you know what I mean?
yes. So my last pianist was Gianfranco, and he's amazing. And I don't know, in the music industry, everyone knows everyone, and everyone's kind of rotating bands, and everyone's in 5 bands at the same time, and I just found him.
That's what I'm starting to learn is everybody really does know everybody, but everybody's so willing to help each other so quick.
Yeah.
I think that's just so amazing. And I think it does show that like a lot of who you know and like who you're connected to really helps like you succeed.
Totally.
And I feel like in a lot of things in media and like in the art industry too, that is like connections is a big thing.
Yeah.
So that's really cool.
Yeah, it's really fun. Yeah. And I think that's why like in the live setting, I really try to always have like a solo moment for every instrumentalist, every musician that's with me, because I just remember so many times just being in the background and just wanting that one moment on stage. And I just think if they're all going to help me in this big way, make my songs come alive and in a way that I didn't even imagine, didn't even plan for, like I want to showcase them too. So all of my live shows are completely different from the last live show. Like I don't have like, this is how this song is supposed to go no matter what. There's a couple moments that I stick to, but everything else is just improv based on who is there, the vibe that night, how they're feeling, from their outfits to how they play, etc.
Yeah, I mean, it makes sense. I mean, because everybody that I've heard in your band is just so like so professional and so talented. So
they're too talented. Yeah.
I mean, if one of your guitarists was on a Kendrick Lamar album, that's a pretty big deal.
Saxophone player.
Did I say guitarist?
Yeah, that's okay.
We just the saxophone. The fact that your saxophone player was on a Kendrick Lamar song, that's pretty baller.
And
that's
you should
awesome.
see Medeiros on keys. Like we'll be practicing, and he'll play the keys with his eyes closed better than anyone ever can, and then be like, "No, I'm not that good," and then just go back to playing sax. I don't get it.
I love that though. I love that. So a quick just step away from the band, because the other night you and I got drinks and you were telling me, we were talking about Stevie Nicks. And about like her relationship with Lindsey Buckingham from Fleetwood Mac, and just how they were like writing songs about each other and then they would have to perform it. If you don't want to talk about this, we don't have to. But
I don't remember this conversation.
Okay. Well then,
are you sure you weren't talking to someone else?
No, I swear to God, because I wrote it down when we were talking.
Tell me about it.
No, you basically like Lindsey Buckingham and Stevie Nicks, like they used to write songs about each other in Fleetwood Mac and have each other perform it, because they were like on on their Rumors album, just a little music history that no one asked for.
Okay.
Like on the Rumors album, they wrote a lot of songs about each other, and they were like on the cusp of breaking up. So it was like a huge like almost like an FU to like them whenever they would sing. And I know you were saying that like you did that similarly with the producer, where you would write songs about your producer.
Oh, I see. Okay.
Do you know what I'm saying?
I hope coming back to that.
I hope it's coming together.
Because I think that was a drunken conversation.
No, probably. I apologize.
No, yeah. When I first started out, this is before I started writing my songs. Okay. This is before the showcase where I had to put together a bunch of songs.
Okay, so we're going back.
In the very, very beginning, I was writing my very first heartbreak song, and I was working with like other female vocalists who also knew how to play the piano, who would just like have intimate like hangouts with me, and then we would just like drink and smoke and try to figure this song out. So the very first song I ever wrote was called Without My Love.
Oh.
And I was seeing this producer, or not actually seeing, but had a relationship with this producer. And he was the only one that I knew that could help me with music in any way or get it in front of anyone. Like at the time at iHeart, I was just the sales girl, like that no one really believed in my voice or believed that I could do it. But to their credit, I hadn't really done anything to show them. And I hadn't really had the incentive to write a song yet. And so I got my heart broken and I just had to get it out, just like I said. And so I was working with this other artist who was very soulful, and she just went through chords with me. And I wrote this song. And she was an artist that like other people were working with. So I just felt so lucky. Like, I can't even believe I'm at her house. I can't even believe she believes in me when all these other people don't. Yeah. And she just helped me plunk this song out. I had already written it, but I didn't know how to put music to it. So she helped me come up with the chords that were very jazzy, very soul, all this. And then I was like, well, now what do I do with this amazing song? And I had to perform it in front of him in order for him to like help me get it to anyone else.
Yeah.
And it's like, oh my God, does he know this is about him?
You're like, sorry, I just get really into it when I perform. Sorry.
That's exactly what happened. And I was shaking in my boots.
Did he find out?
Or was he knew.
He knew.
We all knew. Yeah. And at that time, we were all wearing heels. This was pre-2020. So imagine me in like 4-inch heels, like trying to perform this song, like, and I get shaky knees.
Like this, and you're like, ankles twisting a bit. You're like, oh,
he's gonna know.
Did you guys ever talk about it after?
No.
Yeah,
he knew.
Might be best. I mean, what is it?
Well, what am I gonna say?
Like,
hey,
you said everything. How like you said how you felt. Yeah. You know, already in the song.
Yeah, and I said how I felt in real life. So it's just that's the burden of being an artist. Is some people are going to think songs are about them that aren't. Some people are going to misinterpret why you wrote that song or what that song's about, and only you know. And I also notice every song is kind of about multiple situations at the same time. It's not always just like one reason that you wrote it. But yeah, that was so fucking awkward.
That had to have been really
It's so it continues to be awkward. Yeah. Because my exes will come to shows too, and I have no idea why.
Well, do you post about them, do you?
Yeah, but don't come.
Like,
I didn't invite you, dude. At all.
Open invite, but like,
and then I have to see him in the audience, and I'm like, ugh.
You're like,
look away, look away.
You're like, shit.
Yeah.
Like, what are you doing here?
Exactly.
So being a woman in the industry, we've talked about it a little bit, that you've had to face some like adversities. Do you have any advice to any aspiring female artists that like anything that you've dealt with? Like, is there anything that you could give to any?
Yeah, I've dealt with everything from sexual assault to someone filling me up before I went on stage. Like, one of the things that you need to focus on is like who's around you, what access they have to you, and like how you communicate with them. Like, I'm not trying to say if you text someone after 9 p.m., that's like an open, you're like opening yourself up to them being inappropriate with you. But I think about things like that. What time do you text them? How do you communicate with them? Do you touch them? Do you, like, I'm just like, high fives, everyone. High fives, y'all. Everything's good. Yeah. I'm very professional, and I set the tone right off the bat. I have a phone call with everyone before I even start working with them. Like, here's my vibe, here's my purpose, this is what I expect out of you. In addition to the phone call, I'm putting that in writing. That's the other thing, is always put what you agree with in writing. Always pay people, because you get what you pay for. And there's a lot of times I've taken favors from people, and then they feel that they can at one point bail on you because, well, you're not paying me. Well, you told me you wanted to write music for me, so we started this project, and now all of a sudden money's coming in a weird way. And now it's like a power dynamic. So it's just like knowing exactly what you want from people, knowing how to communicate it, and knowing that people are going to misinterpret what you say, even if you say it 300 times and have it in writing and took their social security number and they signed the piece of paper. They will still, you have to make room for human error. But you also have to like have really healthy, clear boundaries with like the opposite sex or whatever.
Yeah, because like lines can be misconstrued easily. Like, and I'm the same way too. Like, I'm very friendly. I can like be touchy with people too. But like, people can take that in a really wrong way. Right. Like, really quick.
Really wrong. Like, that's why I'm just like high fives.
Yeah.
Because once I don't know. It's just like you can be at a show and you're drinking and you're a little loose and you're a little loosey-goosey, and then I don't know. And then I can't control how someone sees that. So I'm just very professional, or at least I always try to be. And I always try to, have really clear conversations, like in the morning, alert. There's no substances involved. Things are written out. And I find that kind of like kids feel more comfortable when their parents are structured with them. Us as humans, as adults, or even at work, we are more comfortable when we know what people expect of us and when people hold them accountable. So I'm just kind of this like little militant, musician, but I think I've had to be because of what I've gone through.
Yeah, and you've told me a little bit about like what you've been through, and we don't have to get into the details, obviously, but like, was there times where like you would be treated differently or treated like crap just because of your gender?
Absolutely. I mean, and no one's saying like, shut up, you woman, but you can feel it, a guy in the same
unspoken tale.
Exactly. And you can be even just in meetings, like I'll say the exact same thing as another guy, and all of a sudden what they said is like, oh my God, what a fantastic idea. And it's like, I said that like 5 sentences ago. That's crazy. Or like that was my idea or whatever. And I remember I never put like a bunch of effort into my appearance when I first started in music. And I hate saying that like that matters, but it does. And so it's like it opens you up to being vulnerable and like for people to be inappropriate with you when you take more pride in your appearance. But then also people take you more seriously as well. And then also there's that internal like I'm going to give more energy or more confident energy out there because I took pride in my appearance. And so I have this weird relationship with being attractive or other people thinking I'm attractive. Because it's a source of power, but it's also like something you have to be careful with too. Yeah. And so sometimes people want to work with you because they want to have sex with you or because they're attracted to you or they hope something's going to happen further on down the line. And so they may be really professional up front and then wait for their moment.
Yeah.
And so
pretend to be really invested when they're just really,
So it's very interesting. That's why I'm a talker. I put my heart into everything I say. So everyone knows like this is someone who's like very serious about music. I'm not effing around, I'm not here to have fun. I'm here because I have a purpose and a goal and I'm putting my money into it.
Exactly. A financial incentive, but that's all really good advice too. You know, just get everything down in writing and set the tone very clear. So moving ahead, because you have been putting together music. You have?
Yes.
So do you have any new music for 2024 that you're planning?
Yes. Yes. I'm working on my song, Dangerous.
This love is dangerous.
Did we just harmonize on accident?
I can hold a tone.
Oh my God. That was nuts. Okay. Actually, this is probably my only song that isn't like, like, fuck you. This is a song that I wrote when I was in love, and I just thought like, oh my God, this is so dangerous. And it is very rock and psychedelic and soulful at the same time.
Oh, that's dope.
And I was just hanging out with this guy the other night, and I forgot about one of my songs, Lost One. And I do it for my live set, but it means so much to me that I'm scared to start on it. And just unearthing it the other day, I was like, no, this is your next. Like I almost might stop Dangerous and just put my whole heart into Lost One. But I have these unreleased songs that I didn't record because I was like, you need to figure out what recording is. You can put so much money into something and then you're like, oh, wait, God, I wish I did that song once I knew A, B, C, and D. And I could only learn A, B, C, and D from going through this process. Yeah. So I've been waiting to do my best songs and record my best songs and put them out there until I felt like I was fully ready. And so this is going to be one of those like live recording. Like I'm not going to use like, how do you say it? I'm not going to use like software produced instruments. Like I want it to be I want it to be like how it was in the 60s where you had to like come and actually record the drums and actually record each instrument and put it together. So I have some pretty big songs that I need to invest in and also come up with the money for and come up with the energy for to go back to being militant Kylie and being like, okay, we're going to do this.
It's time to work.
Yeah. But yeah, I think I have like maybe 10 unreleased songs. And I'm working on 2 right now. But I kind of want to stop both of them and work on this one that I know is like my big one. Yeah.
Oh, that's so exciting. Oh my God.
I know.
So to round out the interview, we have a quick game.
Okay.
It's called, I do this with most people for the show. It's called Song Association. So I have like 5 different vibes that I'm going to read to you, but you have to think of like the songs that you yourself, Kylie Nelson, has released on Spotify. And I want you to like associate one of your songs with the vibe.
Okay.
Does that make sense?
Okay, I think so.
Okay, well, we're going to try it out.
Okay.
So, fuck him. Like, this guy did me so wrong.
Set Me on Fire.
Set Me on Fire.
Yeah.
That's a good song.
Yeah.
That was off chapter 1.
Yep.
Yes. It's a really, I just love that whole record. I was really like impressed. I just wasn't sure what to expect when I listened to it, but I was
Isn't
like, oh
it
my
weird?
God, it's so like, it was just so professional, like so like just a different sound. Which
And
is
I've
super
never
cool.
performed that one
Well,
because
you
I don't
need
know
to.
how
Well, you need
with a
to.
band. Okay,
You need to
well,
get it
okay,
together,
I'll think
girl.
about
Get it together.
For you. Okay.
Okay, next one. Remind yourself that you're that bitch.
Attitude.
I love that
Me
one.
too.
I was gonna say that one was like very like an uplifting song.
Well, it's my sexual revolution song.
I knew it. I was like, something happened during this time.
She was ready to own her body.
Right.
Okay.
Everybody goes through that though.
Yeah.
Pre-gaming, getting ready to go out.
Candy.
That's a
Did
good
you
one.
plan this?
I mean, I had to make it somewhat easy.
Okay.
But no, I just wanted to hear what you thought. You know what
Yeah,
I mean? Like,
yeah.
'cause I could put together what I would do, but it's not my music.
Yeah.
So.
For sure, Candy.
Tapping into your sensuality.
I Gotta Run. Yeah.
That's a good one
Yeah.
too. And the last one, Be Sad. You need to cry.
Without
Really
My
bad.
Love.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's a good one.
Absolutely.
Like, duh.
Yeah.
Why don't you know that? Okay.
Thought you knew the answers.
No, I mean, I gotta have you answer it.
Okay.
It's your
right,
interview,
right,
girl.
Right.
Well, that kind of wraps it up.
Okay.
This was the comeback episode of That 206 Sound. Thank you for watching.
Yes,
Kylie.
Thank you for having me.
Yeah, thank you so much for coming here. So where can the people find you? Look at that camera. Let them know where they can find you, like on Spotify, Apple Music.
Spotify, Apple Music, YouTube, wherever else, Instagram, @musicbynelson. Check out Nasty Girl.
Yes, it's so good.
Yeah.
I'm super excited for the rest of your music to come out
Thank
too.
you.
Especially Dangerous.
Yes.
This love is dangerous.
Would you host one of my shows?
Yeah.
Yeah?
Oh, yeah.
Would you?
No, I would.
Okay.
Yeah. I don't know why I'm being weird about it. I didn't expect you to ask that. I was like, really? Thank you. Oh, that'd be super fun.
I
we'll
think
talk
you should
about
host
it.
the next show.
Oh, shit.
Yeah, and then maybe
Okay.
like feature your podcast or whatever.
Oh, shoot.
That 206 Sound.
Well, you'll have to come back in here when more music is
Oh,
out. So
for
we'll be able
sure.
to talk about
For
way more
sure.
in depth about it.
Okay.
Thanks so much, Kylie,
Yeah,
for coming.
thanks for having me.
It's That 206 Sound. I'm Radio Natalie, or Natalie Melendez, and see you next time.